Paragraph 1. For billions around the world, the name Jesus holds ultimate power. Invoked in prayer, written into songs, and whispered in moments of hope and desperation. But what if the name millions have called on for centuries isn't actually his real name? What if the figure known as Jesus was called something entirely different in a language and culture far removed from European tradition? This isn't blasphemy, it's historical fact. The man we call Jesus was a Hebrew-speaking Jew from first-century Palestine. His real name? Yeshua, a name with deep roots, different sounds, and a different cultural meaning altogether. Paragraph 2. Jesus is the result of centuries of linguistic evolution and translation. The original Hebrew name, Yeshua, YSHV, is a shortened form of Yehoshua, Joshua, meaning Yahweh is salvation. When the Hebrew scriptures were translated into Greek, the lingua franca of the Eastern Mediterranean, Yeshua became Jesus. Later, Latin scribes rendered it as Jesus, and from there, the English Jesus emerged. But Yeshua and Jesus are not just different pronunciations. They reflect a shift in language, context, and, in many ways, cultural ownership. Paragraph 3. Why does this matter? Because names are not just labels. They carry identity, history, and connection. Calling the Messiah Jesus places him within a European linguistic tradition, often whitewashed and disconnected from his Middle Eastern roots. Yeshua, the man who walked dusty roads under Roman occupation, had brown skin, spoke Aramaic and Hebrew, and practiced Jewish customs. But the name Jesus has often been portrayed by European powers as a blue-eyed, soft-skinned deity, cleaned up for colonization and easier for Western audiences to embrace. Paragraph 4. This erasure wasn't accidental. During the rise of European imperialism, Christianity became a tool for conquest. The image of Christ was reshaped to mirror the conqueror, not the conquered. Renaissance art gave us a Christ who looked more like Caesar than a carpenter. The name Jesus was enshrined in English Bibles, solidified by the King James Version in 1611, ironically, at a time when black and brown people were being enslaved and colonized in his name. Paragraph 5. But the story doesn't stop at linguistics. What many people have unknowingly prayed to isn't just a mispronunciation, it's a reconstructed identity. When you pray to Jesus, are you invoking Yeshua, the radical Jewish teacher who flipped tables and challenged religious elites? Or are you praying to a Eurocentric figure created to validate empire, submission, and hierarchy? The distinction changes how we understand his message, his mission, and what it means to follow him. Paragraph 6. Recovering. Yeshua's real name isn't about canceling tradition. It's about reconnecting with the truth. It brings us closer to the real man behind the myth. A man who lived under occupation. A man whose message was so powerful it threatened both religious and imperial authorities. Yeshua was not the sanitized savior of Western iconography. He was a revolutionary, a teacher, a healer. and his name mattered because it grounded him in a real time, a real place, and a real people. Paragraph 7. In a world where faith is often commercialized and weaponized, remembering Yeshua's true name is an act of spiritual decolonization. It invites believers to unlearn, relearn, and reimagine their relationship with the divine. It also opens the door for deeper conversations about race, identity, and the appropriation of sacred traditions. When we say Jesus, we must ask, which Jesus do we mean? The one shaped by Rome and reinforced by Western art? Or the one born in Bethlehem, dark-skinned, barefoot, and on the run from empire? Paragraph 8. So yes, Jesus wasn't his real name, but the power isn't just in syllables. It's in who we believe we're praying to. To rediscover Yeshua is to remember the revolutionary who challenged the world with love, truth, and sacrifice. And perhaps, when we begin to speak his true name, we'll also begin to follow his true path, not of conquest and comfort, but of courage, justice, and radical compassion.